Welcome to Stoked, the podcast that helps adventure elopement photographers hit six figures and beyond in their businesses without hustling on social media. I'm your host, Megan McPhail, a former burnt-out emergency veterinarian that quit my hard-earned career to become an elopement photographer. Now I'm living a life I absolutely love, full of travel, adventure, and financial abundance, and I am hell-bent on helping you do the same. Are you ready to start booking out your calendar with dream couples in breathtaking locations and feeling genuinely stoked about your elopement photography business, life, and bank account? Then let's dive into this week's episode. Hey, it's your host, Megan McPhail.
And your co-host, Todd Reedy.
And today we are talking all about all-day elopements. Those are those 8, 9, 10, 12-hour elopement days that I teach all of my students in the Elopement Photographer Mastermind how to book. And I get questions all the time from photographers that are wondering, how the heck do you book those? And also, what the heck do you do all day on an elopement? So many photographers are used to, if they are even booking elopements, getting inquiries for elopement days that are couples that just want their ceremony covered and a few photos. So they're like, oh, I only need like an hour or two of coverage. So going from that to couples that want to do an entire day full of elopement adventures, it's really hard to understand how that works. So I'm going to explain. First of all, it's not your job to convince the couples that only want an hour or two of coverage that 8 or 10 or 12 hours is best. These are two different types of couples. The couples that want an hour or two of coverage, they are likely price hagglers. They're trying to do things on the cheap. They probably don't value photography that much. They don't value doing a whole adventure day. They literally just want pics of the ceremony and some portraits. But there's this whole other subset of couples out there who are eloping that do value an entire day adventure and can be excited to book an 8, 10, 12-hour adventure. And they're excited about that and they want that. So that's really important because I think photographers want me to teach them how to upsell these cheap couples when really it's about marketing to the people that want an all-day elopement in the first place. So there's a big difference there. They're completely different clientele, different types of people, different markets. Would you agree with that?
I would say for the most part, yeah. I think that we've had maybe a couple couples over the years of doing this that maybe they didn't know that was even a thing. So maybe they inquire and they just ask for, 1 or 2 hours. And we say politely, we start at 4 hours. And then that kind of does open the window to educating them. Mm-hmm. But that's a very rare instance that someone may be like, oh yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do a whole day instead of just a short thing at the ceremony. So yeah. I don't think it's totally off the table, but I wouldn't expect someone inquiring for 1 or 2 hours that it's going to be a common occurrence that you'll be able to upsell them or convince them.
Yeah. And essentially, if on your website, on your pricing page, maybe you have all these wedding packages, and then at the bottom you have elopements start at $1,500 for 2 hours. If there is a couple who wants an all-day elopement, they're not going to look at that package and then reach out to you and be like, hey, do you do all-day elopements? Because you're only advertising a 2-hour day. So you're pushing away the people who want an all-day adventure by just having the 2-hour package on your website. The couples that want an all-day adventure or that are learning that it's possible are going to reach out to the elopement photographers that advertise 8-hour packages and 12-hour packages. So that's also an important distinction that if you don't even offer it on your website, you're losing out on the possibility of booking these people. Because again, they're very different people. And the scenario Todd's talking about is 1 in 100 inquiries, where somebody might be like, oh, you do more? So again, they're totally different types of people. I talk a lot about how there's different types of couples and there's ideal couples that want to book all day elopements. There's price haggler couples that will never value photography and you can't convince them otherwise. They just want a good deal. There's people who ghost because they probably, inquire with too many people and get overwhelmed and then don't answer them. And those are also kind of window shoppers where they can't even decide what they want, so they probably jump the gun a little and reach out to too many people and then ghost. And then there's the big red flag clients who are like, they question your contract, they question your pricing, they interrogate you on a phone call, and they're no fun either. So you got to make sure you're talking to your ideal couples. And if you want to book all-day elopements, you have to communicate that on your website. So if you don't know what an all-day elopement looks like and you're the photographer, imagine couples. Couples definitely don't know what an all-day elopement looks like. So they really need the photos and the blog posts and the knowledge to kind of educate them on what that does look like and why they want to document the whole thing. So let's just kind of skip the marketing and talk more about what you can do all day on an elopement day, which really, if you think about it, if you're traveling to a really cool place, what are you going to do all day? You're going to go to all kinds of spots, right? So that's really what you do. You mix the photography in with adventuring. And it's not just an all-day photo shoot. I mean, Todd will tell you the majority of the day, I don't even have my camera out.
Yeah, there's a good amount of time where your camera's down and we're just enjoying the day, the view, the activity with the couple.
Yeah, or we're driving or hiking or something, or we're talking, like we're not just taking photos the whole time. Couples don't want to feel like they're performing the whole day. So I'm just going to bring up, actually, I mean, you guys can't see this, but I'm going to bring up one of our all-day elopements, and I'm just going to kind of explain what happened throughout the day. So Elise and Jeremy, I'm going to talk about their elopement in Phoenix, Arizona. They moved to Phoenix and they wanted to basically elope just with their closest friends and family and have them travel to Phoenix to see where they live now and like how cool it is and get married amongst saguaro cacti. So we basically started before sunrise and the girls got their hair and makeup done. And we did a first look with Elise and Jeremy on the rooftop of this really cool Airbnb that they rented. And we did their first look up there right as the sun was rising. And the backdrop was kind of like these big red rocks and stuff. Like it was really, really pretty. So we captured that moment. Then we moved to a different spot on the property. And we just took some portraits of the two of them with like the beautiful lighting, and I did them together. We also did Elise and Jeremy separately to kind of get little details of what they're wearing. And then we introduced Laszlo into the mix, which is their crazy, cute, adorable dog. And he was jumping all over everybody and being crazy. And we're trying to get this floral collar around him, and that was kind of a disaster. So we have some cute like posed photos of them and then some cute photos of just straight up chaos. Oh, and we also were kind of photobombed by Jeremy's mom, who like walked up to us, and then we had like just a really cute organic moment between them. She wasn't dressed or anything, but it was just really sweet. So then we started getting ready to leave and head into a location that I had scouted in the days leading up to it. Elise, who I love, she's a very type A planner person, but she trusted me to pick out the ceremony spot for them, which I loved that she trusted me to do that. So we headed out to this location and we had to drive there. And I think it was probably like a 45-minute drive or so.
Sounds right.
And we ended up stopping at a random creepy liquor store to get them some champagne because as we were driving, we remembered that we forgot the champagne and they wanted to pop a bottle of champagne as the celebratory thing. So we stopped at the weird liquor store and it had a funny name. I remember we were all joking about that, but now I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, no, don't remember.
Yeah. So we drove out to this location and then we all, like the group of us, so it was me, Todd, Elise and Jeremy, and then a few of their friends who were dressed up for the occasion. And we had to hike to this spot. I think that was probably another 20, 30 minutes that we hiked into this little wilderness area just surrounded by saguaros. And we set them up for their ceremony and they exchanged their vows and their friends had little readings and it was adorable. And then after that, they played around with a Polaroid camera and popped champagne and drank champagne. And we had so much fun taking group photos with them. Like they were just a hilarious group of people. And they were like, hey, what if we do this photo? And we all pose as our favorite saguaro cactus. And we just have like all these fun photos of them. And then we started hiking back.
But I should interrupt here.
Yeah.
That like wasn't planned. It wasn't part of the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened organically, like as we were hanging out, because we weren't rushing to get to the next thing.
Yeah.
The time allowed for that to happen as they were interacting with their friends and enjoying just getting married.
Yeah, exactly. And like I have some photos of Jeremy like showing off his wedding ring, and they were all just kind of hanging out for a while until we were like, yeah, we should head back. Another cute organic thing that happened was we went to this spot because there was like nobody there. But right when they were finishing up their vows and about to have their first kiss, there was like a trail a little ways away with like some kids and some guy that were hiking. And they stopped to kind of watch the last part of the ceremony. And when they had their first kiss, everybody over there cheered, which was really cute. So yeah, there's all kinds of little organic moments happening, especially when you're not rushing from event to event. That's what I really like to do, is kind of have some breathing room in the timelines that we create for our couples so we can just have fun. And I think the goofier we get, or the more laid back we are with our energy, the more our couples, and if they have friends with them, are happy to just relax and have fun as well. And then when we got back to the parking lot, they wanted to, if I remember correctly, these were all like theater kids. So they were they were like ready to act in these photos and like just be goofy and have fun. And so there's, a scene in this movie, Little Miss Sunshine, where they're like driving this VW bus and people are running to try to get in. And they had created that photo back in the day, this group of friends. So they wanted to recreate that photo again in all their wedding attire and stuff. So I had to kind of like move the van that they had. They had this big like passenger van for everybody, and like have them fake running to get in the van with Jeremy, the groom, and then two of his friends were driving and stuff. So again, like this was not part of the timeline or part of the plan. This was just like, hey, let's goof around and take this photo. And I was happy to do that. Hey photographer, do you dream of having a successful elopement photography business but don't know where to start? Imagine having the confidence to double or triple your prices, booking your calendar solid with dream couples and breathtaking locations, and feeling genuinely stoked about your business, your life, and your bank account? Then I'd like to introduce you to STOKED Academy, the go-to membership community for adventure elopement photographers that are ready to scale their businesses to six figures and beyond, all without hustling on social media. In STOKED Academy, you'll get access to everything you need to build a six-figure business, like mastering marketing strategies, pricing for profit, elopement planning, worksheets, templates, spreadsheets, and so much more. Plus, you'll connect with a positive, supportive community of elopement photographers who are as passionate as you are. And the best part? It's insanely affordable, like less than the cost of a new memory card for your camera. Plus, as a member, you'll get to join me for a monthly group coaching call where we dive deep into strategies that will take your business to the next level. If this sounds awesome, then head over to www.stokedacademy.com to learn more about the membership and join us. I can't wait to see you in there. So then after that, we parted ways for a little afternoon or late morning snoozer. We book a lot of things where we don't continuously shoot for the 8 hours. We'll oftentimes separate out our day and have like 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening, or 5 and 5, something like that. And our couples really like that because then we get to take advantage of 2 golden hours. I really like that as an introvert and somebody who wants to take an afternoon nap. So some people don't like doing that, but I think we get paid well to separate it out. So it's always worth it to us. So then we met up at El Chorro for kind of like a reception. And it was super cute. We took all these family photos. Their family showed up and we had a blast taking the family photos. Again, that's something that a lot of photographers like to rush through and be very militant about. Whereas I like to really use that time to create moments with their family, because if they are hiring us They're having something very small, which means every guest is super important. So I want to make sure each guest has their time with the bride and groom to give them advice or share a funny story and stuff like that. So we have a lot of fun, candid photos as well as posed photos of the family. They had lots of cute little details that we captured during this little reception dinner thing. And they had a really cool first dance where I think, didn't one of the dads sing during their first dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. So that was very meaningful. And then we took some more golden hour photos and we just kind of like went around the property and just had fun and laughed until the sunset. So that was 8 hours. That was a whole day. It's very easy to fill 8 hours once you include some getting ready photos and like multiple locations. So to contrast that desert elopement that kind of was like, you know, a little bit of an intimate wedding vibe. You know, we still got them married out in nature, but we did have kind of a catered dinner later in the night. Now let's contrast that with Kaylee and Casey's Aspen elopement. This was a really fun one. So we went to Aspen. We started at Maroon Bells and we started at the middle of the night, probably. And this is just the couple eloping. So we had a hair and makeup artist come with us and we hiked up probably like a good hour and a half in the dark. Kaylee is a big fan of Bigfoot. So I was kind of freaked out with that hike. I'm not normally freaked out during like nighttime hikes, but this time, like my headlamp, I always lead the way. It's always me going first and then the couple and then like Todd's in the rear to like just make sure we all stay together and stuff like that. And my headlamp caught some eyes in the trees. Do you remember this?
No.
It freaked me out. It was just a deer, but because Kaylee had been talking so much about Bigfoot, I was like, oh my God, what are those eyes out there? And that was really scary. So we hiked up to this lake and the plan was to do a first look at sunrise. That is commonly what we do. The hair and makeup artist had done a lot of Casey's hair and makeup beforehand, but did the finishing touches under headlamp, like right before the sun rose. And Kaylee got ready into her suit and we had a really cute first look, including a couple photos. And then we went right into the vows, which were some of the sweetest vows ever. They had their first kiss. They also took like a little selfie video that they were going to share with their family later. They had some hot coffee that they hiked up with and these really cute little mugs with carabiners attached. So we had some coffee. I think they brought little waffles too,
Yeah.
didn't they? So we all kind of had coffee and waffles and just hung out. Like I took some photos of them doing that and like some little detail shots of like their vow books and stuff. But I just wanted them to just like hang out and take in the moment, right? Like they got to have some downtime where it's just them and I'm not talking their ear off or photographing them. So there was that. And then I took photos of just Kaylee and just Casey so they could have their own cute little solo photos and little details. And then we kind of explored more along the lake. And then we hiked down and had fun hiking down. They were still in their wedding attire. That's always fun when you head down because then the hikers going up are like just, you know, a couple getting married.
Excited. And they always, did you just get married?
Yeah.
That's a common question.
Congratulations. Or they'll be like, well, that's some crazy hiking gear or something like that. And then we hiked down and we dropped them off at their Airbnb and we again had a little midday break. Then we met back up, went to Aspen Brewery and had some beers and some food. We just hung out and talked and I took a few photos, but we mainly just kind of chilled. And then we needed a spot to sign the marriage license. So we started driving up Independence Pass because we were going to end at sunset on Independence Pass, which is very high up there, much different vibes because we really wanted to capture as much of the Aspen landscape and kind of like explore as much as possible. So we stopped in like this campground that was also an aspen grove on the way up there. And we signed the marriage license and just kind of had fun taking some photos in the aspens and hanging out. And then we continued driving and found all these crazy like rocks just on the side of the road. So we hadn't planned to stop there, but it was just really cool and different from anything we'd hung out in before. So we played around on some rocks and then kept driving. And we got up to Independence Pass and we basically just goofed around on Independence Pass, drank some beers. They danced around and just had some cute little moments like sitting in the rocks. And it was just really cute in the afternoon. So yeah, that's another example of an 8-hour day. Well, that's probably like a 10-hour day. But yeah, some of it involved driving, some of it involved hiking, and it almost seemed like it went by too quick because I remember at the very end, after the sun had set and it was getting cold up on top of that mountain and we were all set to go our separate ways, it was like very sad.
It always is.
Yeah, it's always so sad. And the couples always are like, I wish it was longer. You know, nobody ever wishes it was shorter. If anything, I think people probably are like, we should book multiple days. And I think we should start pushing that, honestly, because yeah, no matter how many hours we have with our couples, it always seems like it's too short. So yeah, you can see how just incorporating a couple things, a couple activities, a few locations can really take up the whole entire day from sunrise to sunset, essentially. Some other ideas that you can do for your all-day elopements is like astrophotography. So we normally end our elopement days right at sunset, but some couples do want to stay for like another hour till it gets really dark and take some photos with the stars. We could also do that starting in the morning as well. But yeah, that's a cool activity. We do a lot of jeeping as well as the activity. So we've done horseback riding, skiing, helicopters.
But it really comes down to what your couple wants, right? And so that's a huge part of the planning process. And like when you get on the phone call with them to like vet to see if you guys are a good fit. And then when you guys go into actually planning the timeline of what do they really want, right? So we're the service provider and like our job is to provide that awesome experience that fits their vibe. So that said, we also like to have the in-between time for whatever comes up for like a cool rock spot, or like we've had it other times where we didn't plan to stop for a beer, but like maybe everyone gets thirsty and like not having to rush to get to, you know, the next spot or to fight traffic and all these things can be really fun for the couple. It's fun for us. And like, it kind of makes for those kind of unique and like memorable moments. I'm thinking back to our elopement too, right? Where not everything was perfectly scripted, and that's kind of the adventure of it. So
yeah, we had an 8-hour elopement day, and it was basically getting ready, first look, we ate some sandwiches, and then we were on a helicopter for like 5 hours, going from place to place. So yeah, it's easy to fill up that 8-hour day when you start thinking about all the different things that you could do. And I always ask my couples, are you trying to have a stress-free day? Which all of them say they are. And then I say in that case, like we really should do 8 hours or more, because that's the only way to not feel like you're rushing from spot to spot or place to place. So when I get on the phone call with couples, I really like talking about their elopement day as what kind of experience that they want. Because when I did weddings, it was like, well, do you want to book me for 8 hours or 10 hours? Or like, you tell me. And with eloping couples, they don't know the number of hours, you know, like they just know what kind of experience they want. And a lot of times they want a stress-free experience and they want to go someplace beautiful and take it in and not worry about rushing from place to place. A lot of them have been in weddings for their friends before, and they don't like all the stress and drama of the day. So I really say, well, if you want a stress-free experience, then let's hang out all day, because then we can just do whatever we want. It can be chill. It can be slow. You know, you'll have plenty of moments to hang out, just the two of you, and take it all in. It's not an all-day photo shoot. I'm not taking photos constantly. And we can just live in the moment in the mountains or the desert or in the helicopter, whatever it is. But yeah, planning in the activities and multiple locations makes an all-day elopement easy. So hopefully that helped you kind of envision what an all-day elopement is. Remember that it's not your job to convince people who only want a few quick photos to do an all-day adventure. There are really different types of people who want the all-day adventure versus a few quick pics. So make sure your marketing is talking to the right people that you want to work with. And yeah, start booking those all-day elopements. We'll see you next week. We have a great episode with guests Laura and Ugo, a photo video husband-wife duo. So you don't want to miss that one. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on this week's episode of Stoked. If you enjoyed the show and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend. If you're looking for more inspiring elopement photography content, check us out on Instagram at Megan McPhail. And if you'd like to hear more about my business coaching and how I can personally help you hit six figures as an elopement photographer, then check out my website at www.meganmcphail.com.